Hey guys, Trevor the Great here once again with, wait for it, another battle report, and it's, wait for it, more Warmachine! Yes! I love Warmachine. Okay, here's what's going on. We're doing eStryker versus pButcher, two of the most beat face, in your face, punch you in the head pan casters ever. So we're going to see how that goes. This one is 35 points. I like 35 points, so I'm very happy we're playing 35 points. This is my 35 points epic striker list. It is two hunters. One of them is marshaled to a unit of gun mages, Arcane Tempest gun mages with their officer. The other one is in the battle group of a journeyman warcaster. Obviously, I have epic striker and a squire and runewood following him around, as well as a hammersmith heavy warjack and a unit of storm blade infantry. So pretty cool. I am playing against a pButcher list. This is a pretty cool list. pButcher is pretty scary. He's a big beat face, punch you in the head caster. So we'll see how that goes. My opponent is running a unit of 5 Man of War shock troopers, a destroyer, a Kodiak, a war dog with Butcher. A Winter Guard Death Star. For those who don't know, the Winter Guard Death Star means a full unit of Winter Guard, 10 Winter Guard with the UA, with as many Rocketeers as you can fit. My opponent has 2 Rocketeers in this one. He didn't have points for the third one, but he's actually proxying one. So there's a little Bile Thrall in the unit, and that's actually a Rocketeer today. And leading the whole thing is Kovnik Joel Grigorovich, or whatever his name is. The little guy who gives speeches. My opponent is also running just a unit of Widowmaker marksmen, so they're just going to be there, hang out and be annoying. So we'll see how that goes. My opponent's pretty new to Khardov as a faction, not new to the game as far as I know. So he's still learning the ropes of pButcher as a caster, and so we'll see how that goes. The table is actually set up exactly the same as the last game I played. So the little ruined things there we're counting as obstacles, and the forests are obviously forests, and the cliff part of the hills is elevation. So there's that. And the scenario, we're just doing caster kill because my opponent's still getting used to Butcher, so we're not doing any of that crazy scenario stuff. So just a caster kill, 10-inch deployment, and we'll see how it goes. So first picture is always the most boring because everybody ran. Yay, awesome! I got my gun mages on the left flank there. I went before my opponent, so I didn't know he was playing, so I just decided to put the gun mages on the left flank. He put his Winter Guard Death Star across from them, and then I got my Stormblades on the right, Hammersmith and the Hunters in the middle, and Stryker and his happy fun friends hanging out behind them. So not a lot. Everybody ran. My opponent's turn. Everybody ran. This is super exciting. Yay. Okay, so here is turn 2, top of turn 2. This is the end of my turn. Not too much has happened. I made a pretty hefty mistake here, though. So I moved up with the Hunters, moved up with a Hammersmith, just pretty much taking cover behind those ruins in the center there. I was able to fire both of the Hunters at one of the Men of Wars. My opponent ran last turn, so there was no shield wall, so they were able to kill one of the Men of Wars pretty easily. The one in the middle there, you see a little gap. That's where one of the Men of Wars used to be. I made a pretty big mistake in that I didn't know the rules for my gun mages. So I figured that the easiest way, he had Iron Flesh on his, and the tough thing on his Winter Guard. So I figured the easiest way to take him out would be obviously blast templates. So I was going to move up my gun mages and fire an Arcane Inferno, which is a order they can get, which basically makes them all do a combined ranged attack, and it makes the AoE of their gun 3. So a combined range attack could probably hit one guy, kill 3, maybe 4 of them, because they're all packed together pretty close there. Unfortunately, what I didn't know is that the officer has to be the origin point for the combined range attack, and I put my officer in the back so he'd be more protected from their sprays and things. So I packed all my guys together thinking that I would be able to kill, hopefully, a couple guys out of the front rank of that unit of Winter Guard. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, so I was out of range with the CRA, and it scattered and didn't do anything, and that was too bad. So now I'm going to get killed by sprays next turn. Yay! But that's what I get for not knowing my rules. So we'll go on to my opponent's turn 2. Okay, so I missed a photo in here. This is actually the bottom of round 3. So sorry about that, guys. I missed my opponent, or the bottom of round 4, I think. I actually missed one of my opponent's rounds. But what's happened here is that Lady Averages has come back and she said, Trevy, I know you made a mistake, but you are incredibly handsome and charismatic, and I'm going to give you a second chance with your gun mages. So I was like, well, thank you, Lady Averages. So the Winter Guard moved up, and they're like, aha, we are going to blast you with our blessed templates. And I was like, uh-oh, this is going to suck. And they fired all their sprays out, and Kovnik Joe gave them the boosted attack rolls speech. Obviously, his speaking makes their guns more accurate, so that's pretty amazing how that happens. But they fired at the gun mages. They needed 10 to hit, and as you know, if you can do some math, that is an average roll on 3 dice. And I was like, there goes all my gun mages. And he killed 3. He killed 3 out of probably at 8 or 10 rolls. He killed 3 of them. So that was ridiculously lucky on my part. He moved up with his Widowmakers, wasn't able to get enough movement to see through the forest. So that was very lucky on my part too. And I'm just lucking out this turn, and I really do not deserve to have these gun mages survive, but they are alive. So thank you, dice rolls. The dice gods have favored me this day. Basically, in everything else in my turn, I killed 1 more man of war with the hunters. I shuffled some stuff around, took 2 casualties, I think, from the destroyer shooting at the Stormblades. Other than that, not a lot happened. Shuffled the Hammersmith up. I put Lightning Storm down in front of the Winter Guard to stop them from moving up, and killed a couple of them with it. But that is all. Okay, so this is the end of my opponent's next round. I think it's I just actually replenished my focus, so I shouldn't actually have any focus on Stryker or the junior. I just put that down and then be like, oh, I gotta take a picture. So this is the end of my opponent's retaliatory round. Whichever round this is, I think this is 4 or 5. Basically, again, getting very lucky with the gun mages, only losing 2 to shots from the Widowmakers and the Winter Guard. Very, very lucky there. They've moved up and just started spraying things and shooting things, and I've only lost 2 of my gun mages, so I'm very happy about that. Other than that, basically all of my opponent's heavy stuff, so Butcher, his 2 jacks, and the what do you call those dudes? The Man of Wars have moved over and to get around these ruins and just try to push me away basically from the ruins and get some threaten me a little bit. The Stormblade should be a little bit back. Again, this is the beginning of my turn, and now I sort of derped a little bit when I took the photo. So there was a Stormblade next to the Kodiak. He should be back about 8 inches, and I'll get into why he's up in there in the next photo. So this is my next round. I decided to try to get an assassination run off on Butcher this turn, and I botched it quite a bit. So I messed up my order of activations a little bit. It didn't really make too much of a difference because I don't think I wouldn't have been able to do anything anyway. But it would have made it so I could have mitigated the problems a little more easily. So what I did here was that Butcher had his guard dog right next to him, obviously, and then he's got these 3 Men of Wars in shield wall in front of him. So what I did was that I moved up with I started by charging the guard dog with the Stormblade. Now it was iffy whether I was in or out, but the guard dog has countercharge anyway, so the guard dog moved up into base contact with the Stormblade, made the charge attack and missed, and Stormblade killed him. So that was pretty good. Killed the guard dog off. That lowers Butcher's defense down to 14 from 16 with guard dog. He's camping 4 or 5 focus, so his armor is very high. Stryker has overload though, and as long as I don't kill myself, I can get my strength to ludicrously high numbers. So armor is not really a detriment to Stryker killing people, and armor and defense 14 makes it pretty easy for Stryker to hit. He hits on a 7, which is an average roll, which means I can just buy a bunch of attacks and try to hit him over and over. What I did next was I moved the Hammersmith back to give Stryker a charge lane, and then activated my hunters. Now what I should have done better is I should have activated the hunters before I activated anything else, because the hunters were there. They were going to try to kill that Men of War in front of Butcher. Now, if they could both get their shots off, and on good rolls, they could kill the Man of War pretty easily. They were shooting at dice -7, but with boosted damage, that's a average of, I think, 3 or 4 damage per shot. So with boosted damage, they could pretty easily kill the Man of War. Unfortunately, I was not so lucky, and you know, I had my gun mages survive the onslaught from the Winter Guard, so I can't really complain about luck in this game. But I missed. I think I missed with one of the hunters, and I did 2 damage with the other one. So it was not very, not a lot of damage done to that Man of War. Not nearly as much as I would have liked. So that means my assassination run is not going to happen. If I had killed the Man of War, I could have just velocity the Stryker in between those 2 hunters, got a clear charge range off on Butcher. I put Arcane Shield on him from the junior so that he was armor 19 versus versus those free strikes he was going to be getting. Hopefully they wouldn't be able to do too much damage to him, and then he would just overload and swing at Butcher a whole bunch. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to kill the Man of War, so I didn't really have a charge, a threat. A assassination threat, so Stryker ended up moving up. He rebuked the Men of Wars, and he rebuked the Man of Wars and put down a lightning storm in front of the Winter Guard again. Killed 2 or 3 more of them, so he's killing them off one by one, and then velocity back behind the wall. The gun mages aimed and started shooting at the Widowmakers. Because the officers there, they ignore concealment and camouflage, so they're killing the Widowmakers pretty easily. But unfortunately, wasn't able to get the assassination off. But there you go. Okay, so here my opponent made his counterattack here. He basically moved up with everything. Just gave the Winter Guard the boosted range attack rolls. They started firing at the hunter on the right there, and I believe they took it down to almost no boxes. It had no movement left, no cortex, and I think just its little axe, and so no gun either. So it was pretty badly hurt at that point. So looking pretty bad over there. Obviously, not a lot happening. The destroyer moving up and just annihilating the one Stormblade that was there. The Kodiak running over to the right hand side there, and Butcher moving up behind the Man of Wars to block line of sight and putting Iron Flesh on himself because there is a little bit of an assassination threat. So he's just making sure he's got as many defenses as possible up, and he's got a bunch of focus camped on himself. So he's looking pretty solid at this point. Okay, so this is the end of my next turn. So what I've done here is basically I'm losing the attrition war. Basically, my opponent still has both of his jacks up. My jacks are pretty heavily damaged. The Hammersmith's actually looking pretty good, but the one of my hunters is almost dead. I really just don't have the firepower to deal with both of his jacks. I could kill one with a Hammersmith maybe, but I really don't want to commit the Hammersmith to do that because I don't think it'll be a very good trade. So what I've ended up doing is I've decided to go on offensive with a Hammersmith through these ruins. Basically, my opponent can't really get too many models in to fight him. And he can easily kill the Man of Wars, and if my opponent lets me, kill Butcher pretty easily with positive charge on him from Stryker. So I moved him up. I put 2 focus on him, charged one of the Winter Guard in front of him, killed the Winter Guard, and then boosted the damage roll, and the other Winter Guard killed him. Boosted the attack roll, sorry. So killed the 2 Winter Guard in front of him, and basically recast Arcane Shield onto him from the junior, and basically said, "Hey, come at me." Actually, that's not true. I think the junior is actually dead at this point. Okay, yes, no, the junior had been taken out at this point. So that left his hunter inert over on the other side. So I'd moved the hunter over there. Forget the actual turn of events. This game was played pretty late, so I don't remember exactly what happened. But the hunter that the junior was controlling moved over to the right hand side of the ruins there, basically to gum up the works. He was missing everything but his axe, I think, so he was pretty useless anyway. I took a shot at just Kodiak or something. It didn't do any damage. The rest of my army, truffle shuffled around. I took a shot at one of the Man of Wars, and I think I killed him with the hunter. I don't remember. but moved around, so I wasn't going to be killed by anything crazy next turn. So in my opponent's turn, he retaliated with his models. He feeded with Butcher, upkept Iron Flesh on himself, came out a bunch of focus, and then I think he put a couple focus on the Destroyer, who took a shot at Runewood but missed. I think that's what happened, and then ran up with the Kodiak for free. So he was sitting on, I think he was sitting on 3 focus at this point. He feeded so that all his models got boosted damage rolls. He moved up with the Mana Wars. They got rebuked by Stryker last turn, so that they couldn't run or charge or shield wall. But well, he activated Covenant Joe first. Covenant Joe gave the boosted to hit speech on the Winter Guard. They were able to, with all their firing, they boxed the Hunter, so the Hunter was a wreck marker at that point. The Hunter on the right-hand side of the little ruins. And then we're able to, with the help of the Mana Wars, we're able to box the Hammersmith as well. So both of those jacks went down pretty easily. So not looking too good for me. I lost 2 of my pretty important jacks, but the Hunter was there pretty much to block, clog things up anyway. And then he's threatening me with these with the Destroyer and the Kodiak. But I think I do have a charge range to Butcher, a charge lane to Butcher, so I will get into that in the next photo. Okay, so this is going to be the last photo of the game, obviously, because Stryker and Butcher are in melee range. So, yeah, so if as you can see in my last photo, Stryker was couldn't see Butcher where he was in the last turn because there was a wall in the way, and then there was a wreck marker in the way as well. But what a lot of people forget, and I get a lot of wins out of this, because people forget about Runewood, and Runewood is 3 points, which in my opinion might be a tad overcosted, but because he's so easy to kill. But a lot of people just ignore him a lot of the time, and he can sacrificial pawn to friendly warjacks if he's hanging out by them. So I like to keep him next to a sentinel because then he can he's almost impossible to kill. But I don't have a sentinel on my 35-point list, not enough points for it. So Runewood is incredibly important to Stryker because Runewood can use his battle plan to give Stryker Pathfinder. And it's not like I didn't tell my opponent this. I did hand my opponent his card at the beginning of the game, but it was a very late game, and we both forgot things. So that's how that goes. So Stryker was able to velocity for 3 inches, poke his Squire for 1, 1 focus, velocity for 3. So he had line of sight to Butcher, got Pathfinder from Runewood, charged right through the wreck marker. Did not take a free strike from the Destroyer because he was just out of the melee range. Got into reach range with Butcher. Overcharged, got a ridiculous roll in the overcharge. He took 8 damage, I think, and gained 15 strength from it. So ridiculous roll on the overcharge, and just one-shotted Butcher. Just killed him right there. Butcher was sitting on 3 focus, I believe, 2 or 3 focus. So he was armor 21, def 17. I boosted to hit. I hit, which was lucky for me, and then the damage was boosted. POW 30, so it would be dice plus 9 or something like that, dice plus 10. So killed Butcher pretty squarely. So that was that game. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle report. It was a good game. Obviously, Stryker is the way Stryker plays a lot of times is that he can be very aggressive, but the way I play, I'm not a very aggressive player in this game, but the way I see him played most often is that he can play the attrition game. He's got Rebuke, he's got Lightning Storm, he's got some good offensive spells, and some buff spells with deflection. And then Junior gets Arcane Shield, so he can play the long attrition game. But basically, he waits till his opponent makes a mistake and then charges in and kills him. So that is what happens a lot in my games with Stryker. It seems like I'm losing the game, and then I'll get a charge lane and kill my opponent. So. Obviously got pretty lucky in this game. The gun mages should probably have died a lot earlier, and that allowed me to kill off more of the Winter Guard and the Widowmakers than I really should have. So and then obviously hitting Butcher in my first swing was pretty good, but that is an average 10 is an average roll on 3 dice. So yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Great game to my opponent, and if you want more awesome battle reports and cool models, check out Trevy'sPaintingTable.com or my channel.